It is my pleasure to introduce to you our keynote speaker, a Philadelphia native and a Temple business graduate, Cosmo DeNicola. Cosmo manages a diverse portfolio of entertainment, sports, and technology companies while also serving on the boards of philanthropic organizations. Cosmo is the chairman of a talent management firm and a co-owner of the Philadelphia Soul Arena football team. He has also founded and led several national technology companies involved in business software solution and healthcare technology. Please join me in welcoming Cosmo DeNicola. Cosmo?
Thank you, Dean Peratt. Welcome, trustees, faculty members, parents, certainly, friends, and alumni, and most important, our graduates. Congratulations. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to address you today and be part of your special day. But I really wanted to kick off and just introduce myself and kind of bring some relevancy to what we're going to talk about today. And just want to say hello, my name is Cosmo DeNicola, and I'm Temple made, just like every one of you. Temple made, right here in front of us. I'm very proud of Temple. I love the way Temple is growing. You walk around the campus, it's amazing what they're doing. You walk up Broad Street, and you really have to feel proud. I'm proud of our graduates gaining national recognition and alumni driving our country's economic recovery. Over the next 3 hours or so during my speech, just kidding, over the next 10 minutes, I will share some of my memories of Temple and some stories that you will surely remember for at least the next 10 or 15 minutes. But in a weird kind of way, this is your last lecture, and I get to deliver. And as a positive, you don't have to worry about a final exam. There will not be any grade on this lecture. But when I was initially approached about giving this speech, my first question was, why me? You know, there are so many great Temple graduates that, you know, have achieved great fame and fortune around the world. You know, why me? Did they get the wrong cause? That was my first question. Well, the answer is quite simple. Really, I have all the necessary credentials, business success. You know, I've been a successful entrepreneur over a long period of time. But the reason they chose me is I'm the perfect choice. Why am I the perfect choice? Because I'm you, I'm you, I'm you, and I'm you. And very easily, you can be me and stand up here 30 to 40 years from now. So I think there's great relevancy in my delivering this speech, because I think you can look up front and you can really envision yourself standing here, and I'm sure someone in the audience will be someday. Why did I choose Temple? You know, really it was a simple choice for me. I was born in Northeast Philadelphia and raised in a loving family of Italian immigrants who are joining me today in a very humble environment. I attended Temple, quite frankly, because it was cost-effective. Parents, how about $185 a semester? What do you think of that? And it was close to home. I commuted in a '68 Chevy Bel Air with 3-speed on the column, and it didn't have any air conditioning. It had roll-up windows and no radio. No radio, certainly no cell phone. But I never felt bad about that. You know, that was the vessel that was delivering me to Temple, and Temple was the vessel that was going to deliver me to my future. I never dreamed of leaving Philly at that point in my life. Global was defined by Bucks County to the north and South Philadelphia to the south. I attended classes at the Main, Center City, and Ambler campuses, balancing 2 jobs while going to school full-time, one of which propelled me into a career in technology, while marrying my amazing wife, Janet, when I was a 19-year-old junior. So do the math there. That's a long time. Happy 38th anniversary, Janet. But Temple was special. Their vast programs, classes, and flexible schedule gave me the opportunity to adjust my education to my evolving life. Very important. I navigated through various majors, starting out at pre-med, going to liberal arts, finally ending up in accounting, without missing a beat. I was able to continue my classes, not lose any time, and certainly not waste any of my parents' valuable money. I always felt that I was what Russell Conwell had in mind in 1884 when he founded Temple. Academically, different story. Slow to start, but finished strong. I was more clever than intelligent. I gave more effort than I had talent. It's interesting times at Temple for me. It was an interesting time in the world and in our country. There were many significant national security, economic, and social events that shaped my time here. The end of the Vietnam War, the Arab oil embargo, if you can remember that. You know, nowadays you worry about $4 gas. Well, in the early 70s, we worried about having any. So it's a very different world. Watergate, of course. And to me, it was, or to you, it's history, but to me, it shaped my life and my future. And here's the most important event that happened while I was attending Temple. The first cell phone call was placed in New York City. So that's real history for everyone and very relevant for everyone here today. So I was me when I walked on this campus for the first time. However, Temple prepared me for life without my even noticing it. That reminds me of a story. Two young fish are swimming when they pass by an older fish going in the opposite direction. The older fish nods and says, "How's the water, boys?" The two young fish continue to swim, and one looks at the other and says, "What the heck is water?" So lesson number one, things are happening in the world all around you. So pay attention. Everything that happens affects your future. So what did I learn along the way? First day on campus, seen McGonigal Hall, right? Newly rebuilt McGonigal Hall now. Back then, it was fresh and new. I met with the freshman coach of the football team, Frank Murph Messino. "Cosmo," he said, "I've watched your football tapes, and I've talked to your coach." And he said, "I have to be honest with you, kid. Not that you won't win the Heisman Trophy, but based on what I've seen, I project you to hold the blocking dummies for the next 4 years." Whoa, that's a bad scouting report if there ever was one. It hurt. He said, "I also noticed that you're interested in medicine and pharmacy. That's pretty serious education. I think you need to decide whether you want to hold the blocking dummies for 4 years or you want a great education." A moment of truth for me on my first day of class. After thinking for a couple of minutes, I responded, "Coach, I guess I'll focus on my studies and give up football." And quite frankly, at that point in my life, I loved football more than studies, but I gave it up. So I went to Temple to be a doctor and play football, and did neither. However, Coach gave me a dose of reality, and Temple gave me the flexibility to adapt and find my success. Sounds demoralizing, I guess, but it really has a happy ending. I may not have played football, certainly did not win the Heisman Trophy. However, I leveraged my education to own 2 professional football teams in Philadelphia area. And as for being a doctor, I'm teaming up with Temple Health and renowned pulmonary doctor Jerry Kreiner to help people with COPD improve their quality of life and their health. So in a way, I've come full circle. For that, I say, thank you, Coach Messino. Wish you were here. So lesson 2 was learned. It's okay to miss an opportunity because there will be so many of them in your life. It's okay to miss an opportunity. When I was in my 20s, a mentor of mine told me some great words of wisdom. He said, "Cosmo," he said, "you're young enough to go bankrupt 3 times and still be a billionaire." Bankrupt 3 times and still be a billionaire. That's how young every one of you are in front of me. Well, I'm not a billionaire, and I never went bankrupt, but his comments instilled in me a certain fearlessness that served me well throughout my life and my business career. On the college side, your years could be broken down by what you've learned inside the classroom and certainly what you've experienced in life outside as well. But I suggest you do an exercise. 10 years from now, you pull out your transcript and you cross off each class that has had relevancy up to that point in your life. And you'll be surprised. Every one of your classes will be crossed off. They all are relevant, not just today in getting your degree, but in your future. Specifically for me, I learned that economics made me a better forecaster in business, that my operations research classes helped me create business intelligence dashboards and define key performance indicators. Accounting made me banker-friendly and made it easier for me to finance my growing companies. Law classes helped me manage my risk, keep myself away from the guys at the School of Law that we certainly as business people want to stay away from. But even an elective course helped me. Public speaking, preparing me and giving me the confidence to address this group today. I can go on through all of my 120 plus credit hours and find some relevancy. It'll be a great exercise for you to do someday. So lesson number 3 is a simple one. Even your electives matter. One advantage of Temple's flexible scheduling was taking 18 hours of classes while only being on campus 2 days a week. How do you do that in an era that predates protein bars, 6-hour energy drinks, and bottled water? How do you get through 8 hours of straight classes without a break? It wasn't very easy. Of course, the disadvantages for me were dehydration, starvation, and fatigue. You know, that was the downside. Unlike today's campus, when you walk around, the campus has more mobile restaurants than Manhattan. In the 70s, we had to live off of Philly pretzels. They taste great, but not very effective brain food for sure. But strangely, lesson number 4 was learned. The value of mobility. If a student can't get to the food, can the food be moved to the student? Could the lunch trucks of the early 70s have planted the seed for my personal involvement in the mobility industry? Crazy? Maybe not. Maybe something you saw during your 4 years here will motivate you to fix a problem or address a need to be a very big success in whatever you do in life. Moving from formal education to life. Not that I'm necessarily a sage and are going to give you great words of wisdom, but there's some things that I noticed along the way that I think are important in life and in your business career. And I'd like to offer 8 observations and suggestions. Number 1, assume everyone's watching you. Lauren Bacall, in paraphrasing William Shakespeare, once said, "In Hollywood, it's all about exits and entrances." What that means to you is Google's a very easy way to find out what someone's done that's been positive and something that isn't. So be very aware that every step you take, everything you do is recorded and it's going to matter at some point in your life. Number 2, you will learn so much more in bad times than good. Although I wish everyone a beautiful life, the one thing I will guarantee you is that there will be bumps along the way. And it's going to be those bumps that are really going to teach you how to live your life and how to succeed in whatever it is, business or not. Number 3, in spite of what the book says, I've never been bitten by a shark in business. Read newspapers. Do your homework. Yes, you're still going to have homework, and it's very important you do it. And you're going to have to do it to really succeed. You can't go home at 5 o'clock at night and tuck it away until 9 o'clock the next day. Even in the tech world, relationships matter. Don't hide behind voicemail, email, texting. And don't feel sorry for yourself. Get off the canvas. You know, we're in the city of Philadelphia, and Rocky's one of our heroes. My favorite Rocky movie is Rocky III. Anyone who's watched it, understands he went from up here to down here. And getting up there wasn't half the battle of getting back up there. So, things will happen in your life. You need to just pick yourself back up and get in the game. Keep it real. Clarity is crucial. Be honest with yourself. Look in the mirror. Person looking back at you is very important. You have to be very honest with the person staring back at you. And lastly, never beat yourself up. Always move forward. No coulda, woulda, shouldas in your life. You have to move forward and get beyond whatever obstacle you've run into. And finally, in closing, a couple of things that I learned along the way that are very, very important to me personally, and I wanted to share them with you today. Number 1, it really is better to give than receive. At some point in your life, you'll look back and you'll remember the smiles you put on other people's face, whether they're business or personal smiles. You'll remember the smiles that you put on their faces more so than you'll remember the times you smiled. And number two, remember where you came from. That's one tattoo you can't have lasered off. So finally, in closing, God bless America, God bless Temple University, and God bless all of you. Thank you.